right, good morning, everyone, and welcome back to My Life Map podcast. We are reporting today from our Center of Operations at the heart of Doha from ServCorp offices. And with us today is a very interesting guest who is going to be sharing with us her journey of change, which is very interesting. And we're hoping that through the talk today, we're going to inspire thoughts to change and shift life in some people, thoughts of inspiration in others, and how to move on through different life expectations, and how to maneuver through all of those life challenges. So we decided to come and share this moment today with our guest 2 days before my climb to Kilimanjaro. So asking you all to send us vibes to get a very peaceful summit. And with us today is...
These are vibes.
Thank you very much. So with us today is Fabienne Hajjar. Welcome with us to My Life Map podcast.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
It's great to be here and looking fabulous with those amazing colors. So Fabienne, what we usually like to start with, usually before we start to dig deeper, is we give our guests an opportunity to maybe share the best way how to introduce themselves to our listeners.
Yeah.
So tell us, who is Fabienne?
Yeah, well, I mean, how much time do I have?
Go. It's yours.
So, as you said, Joe, my name is Fabienne Hajjar. I'm Lebanese. I'm originally Lebanese. I've been living in Doha for 14 years now, going up to 15. I'm a general manager for ServCorp, Workspace Solutions. As most of the people who are listening to us would have known in Qatar what ServCorp is.
Yep.
I've joined them in 2009.
Wow.
And I've built practically a career with ServCorp. So they gave me that opportunity. So just to tell you who am I, I'm a woman like everyone else, very ambitious, very positive. I have a story to tell. So hopefully during our conversation, people will know my story. And the only thing that I hope by the end of this podcast is for people to learn something
100%.
or to be inspired by my story. And if I can change one person's mind today,
100%.
we would have achieved, you and I, what we want to achieve.
Beautiful. I think this is where we are both aligned.
Yeah.
Right? So while I was going through your bio, while I was reading about you online as well, something caught my attention.
Yeah.
Pharmacy.
Yeah.
Corporate.
Yeah.
Massive shift. And let me tell you why that aligned with me specifically is because my sister as well, she had studied pharmacy at some point in her life. And she also did a shift in career. And I was like, okay, hold on. I would love to know more.
Yes.
So tell me.
Why?
Yes.
People ask me like, why? I mean, it's so different. Life is life. And normally you are in situation, you get yourself into situations where you have to make decisions. I love the pharmacy. I've worked half of my professional life in the pharma sector. It's not like I've graduated and said like, oh, I don't like it. I still like it. It's still a passion. A lot of my team would call me, well, they both family issues, like if they're sick, their children are sick, they would call me at night. Okay, so what do I do? What do we do? And I still like to read a lot about the pharma. What are the new things?
Okay.
It's just that I moved from Lebanon to Doha in 2009. And I found myself like, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to continue in the pharma market or not? I actually did want to continue, but I didn't find the opportunities where I would learn more.
Okay.
So I said like, okay, I'm not going to learn anything more here from what I've actually done and achieved. Let me try something else. And surprisingly, within like 2 or 3 weeks, ServCorp found me. I didn't find them.
Oh, no way.
They found me.
Okay.
and this is not, it's a funny story because I wasn't actually looking at ServCorp as like, oh, this is a good company. It ended up being a great story. You will see throughout our talk. They found me. They've approached me and said like, well, would you like to try something else? And that's how it happened. So like, yeah, I mean, I'm open, but the senior manager at that time, when she interviewed, like, you do know I know nothing about workspace solutions
About what you actually
or
do.
real estate. Like, my knowledge is like, look at scientific studies and formulas and drugs and medicines.
Oh
That,
my
like,
God.
this is how my mind works.
Yep.
So like, yeah, that's okay. We will train you, and then we'll see how it goes. And that's how the journey started. I actually started with ServCorp from scratch. I mean, not at the reception, but I did have actually a branch manager. I started as a branch manager
Oh, wow.
at the Commercial Bank Plaza.
Okay.
That was our only location back then.
That was the first location in Doha.
That was the first location. It opened in 2008, and November 2009, I took over.
Okay.
And that's how my journey with ServCorp started.
Wow. So what was your biggest fear other than you not being in that field? What was your biggest fear back then?
Failure. I just can't fail. It haunts me until today. Failure haunts me. Like, I just couldn't fail. Like, whatever it is, if I took on a challenge, I have to succeed at it.
Going all the way in.
There is no other option. It just, I can't fail, and I would not give up. It wasn't easy. Failure was my biggest fear. I've never failed in my life.
And this was the challenge. Like,
I mean, I don't know anything about how to rent offices or to provide services. Even we are very specialized in IT infrastructure. I mean, I could browse the internet.
That's it.
To do some research. But other than that, from a technical perspective, I didn't know what a VPN meant, what a VLAN meant, what like IPs, nothing. So I had to learn everything by myself from scratch, from zero. I've started literally going through the ServCorp manuals in 2009. Well, training is 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but then you have to go deep.
100%.
So I have to go through all the manuals. I still have a lot of manuals. We still have the manuals online. We train new people.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, they are updated. But I went, and you could see like pages and pages. It was Chinese. For me, back then it was Chinese. Today, it's not Chinese anymore. Today, I could,
Inshallah, like today you are handling 4 locations.
Yeah, I mean, I was given the opportunity, but I actually took it and made something out of it, because we've expanded the business in Qatar. But then I've also contributed to running ServCorp businesses elsewhere. People always ask me, how do you run the United Kingdom? Germany. How do you run Germany? How do you run Lebanon? New territories are also my territories. Like, for example, now it's really weird because I'm opening a location in Medina in Saudi.
Oh, you're heading to Saudi as well?
Well, I did already. It's under construction.
Oh, wow.
Although I don't have Saudi under my portfolio. I only have Medina, which is in Saudi. And that's kind of like, okay, Fabienne, we want you to go there. Like, okay, I'll go there.
I'll head there.
So I've been given opportunity. So I think I was lucky enough. I mean, luck and my perseverance.
100%.
Being afraid of failure, like all in with passion, it pays off by the end of the day. It's challenging, but it pays off.
And I love how you've just flipped that emotion of fear to your benefit. I mean, because usually fear is an emotion, is an away emotion, as we call it. So you basically don't want to deal with that thing that causes you fear. But you've taken that on, you've flipped it to the other side, and you're using it to your benefit until today.
Yeah, there is no, I mean, I don't think being scared of failure should scare you.
Stop you. Yeah.
Actually, it's the other way around. It's because you're scared of failure, you are going to succeed, and then you're gonna like, okay, no, that's not gonna happen. And I've never been a quitter, ever. Whether I like it or not, whether it's something that is interesting or something that makes me passionate, that has nothing to do with the fact that all in, it has to succeed.
Love that.
It has to we have to reach a point where the objectives are met. I mean, a bit more.
Yeah. And a bit more. That-
It's always that bit
that's
more.
that makes the
right?
difference,
Yeah,
right?
that's what makes the
100%.
difference. Just that bit more. I mean, makes the entire difference in a career path.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am going to come back to your shift. Actually, you know what? Let me dig deeper into that right now. So you were married when you did the shift in your career?
Yeah, and I had 3 kids already.
Oh wow, bless. Okay, touch wood.
I started early. So okay, so let's go back.
Let's go take a step
Let's
back.
go
yeah.
back a step back. So I finished university in 2000, and I got married in 2000.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been with my husband for going on 30 years now.
Mashallah,
We've
bless.
known each other for 30 years. So we practically grew up together. He plays a huge role in my career path and my success. We'll go to that in a
Yes.
second. And I finished uni. I got married. I finished in June 2000.
Okay.
And I started working in July 2000.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it just
Okay.
and I've been working
Since back then.
since back then,
Bless you. Okay.
non-stop. Along the way, I had 3 children, 3 girls.
Okay.
So my eldest was born in October 2021.
Okay.
She's 22 years old.
Bless. Okay.
And so Serena was born in 2001, and then I had 5 years later my second, my Zoe, who's almost 18.
Bless. Okay.
And then Elodie, the last one, is 15 and a half. Like she's 15 years old.
She's the
Yeah.
cherry on top.
إخ العنقود.
إخ العنقود, yeah.
in Lebanese. إخ العنقود. So Serena is finishing university. It's her last year. It's her last few months.
Okay.
And Zoe is going to start her journey soon. And Elodie, I still have her at home for 2 years, and then she's gone.
Okay.
When I moved to Doha, I had 3 children. My children were with me when we moved to join my husband in 2009. So, and I had 2 babies. They were babies. The younger ones were very babies. Moving to a new country, without family, I had the support of my husband, which always I had his support. And I had to work on a full-time job in something completely new. I have never done real estate in my life. And these were huge challenges. And I used to come back home and say, like, what am I doing? So like, okay. And then wake up the second day and go to the office.
Do it again.
Like, do it again. And in 2009, 2010, we had the economic crisis
Yes.
in the Middle East.
the
It wasn't in the region. It wasn't that easy.
It wasn't fun, no.
So going back to, I had my children. I'm a working mother. I've never known anything else because I got married and I had my eldest like a year after, and I've worked since.
And you were still working.
I've never stopped. People say like when they are pregnant, because I have a lot of women. I support women.
We are going to talk about women empowerment at ServCorp.
And they get pregnant and they say like, okay, I mean, what am I gonna do? I'm tired. It's like, please don't tell me you're tired. I also worked and I had 3.
Went through it.
So I went through it. I mean, till the last day, pregnant, like being huge.
In the office.
Well, when I had my children, I was on the streets because I used to go out a lot. I used to have conferences and travel. ServCorp, actually, I'm more into an office environment. My previous work in the pharma was never in the office.
100%.
65% of my time was around, running around, going to conferences, organizing things, seeing other people,
visiting hospitals.
So I've actually never worked into an office except when I joined ServCorp, and I had to train my mind. Like, okay, it's 4 walls now.
No
How
more
am I
street.
not outside, going, driving, walking? I need to change my lifestyle to fit in that kind of work.
100%.
So yeah, it's a shift, but it wasn't hard.
Interesting that you say it wasn't hard. I like that. So can I ask you a question? Was there a moment in time you went back home, you broke down, or you cried?
Oh, so many times.
All right. Tell me about one of those moments.
So many times. That was eventually at the beginning. At the beginning, because I was struggling with the office hours. I was struggling with being stuck in a building where I'm used to go out, to walk a lot, to think outside.
Yeah.
So that the physical space used to break me. I mean, I couldn't tolerate it. So I started exercising more.
Okay.
And I needed
An
like
out.
an out of the, like, sitting behind a laptop or sitting behind a desktop working or on the phone. I needed an out, so I started exercising more. I mean, normally I'm an active person.
Okay.
Normally I'm very active. I
By
exercise.
nature.
I exercise 3 to 4 times a week.
Yes,
Like,
okay, nice.
So but I started doing it more, started going more to the gym just to have an out. But one time, I think probably within 6 or 8 months after, and there was a reason why I broke down. It's because my CEO called me.
Okay.
And he said, well, I don't know your name. I mean, I hope he listens to this podcast.
We're sending him regards.
Yeah, but, I mean, I was with him this morning, and it was another chat. But anyway, he said, like, I don't know your name, but I know you're running Qatar for us.
Right.
I said, like, yep, I've joined a few months ago because I had a different general manager, and now I report to the CEO, who is exactly the same. He is the founder of ServCorp. We will get back to him.
Okay.
He calls me one day and said, well, you've joined how many months? He's like, I've joined probably 3 or 4 months ago. And he said, like, okay, you have 6 months to turn it around.
Oh.
Yep.
That was the first conversation ever on the phone with him.
Yep. That you have 6 months to turn it around. And he hung up.
What?
Yeah. People who work around him know him pretty well. He's very straightforward. He doesn't wear gloves, which is the right thing to do anyways. And he says things as they are. So, like, you have 6 months to make it around. That's the time. And back then we were losing a lot of money. It was a new location. It was in the middle of the economic crisis in the region. And so, like, okay. So I went home and I broke down with my husband. Like, what am I going to do? I don't even know what that business is all about. I don't know the country. I don't know how the country works. I don't know people. Nothing. And I mean, surprisingly, when I broke down, and my nature is like, I will be upset for 5 minutes.
Okay.
So and then it will go.
So you take your one good cry and then you move on.
I mean, you can see me upset or frustrated for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
And then khalas.
We flip.
Yes. And so, like, okay, this is the problem. So how do we solve it?
Let's see how we can move on from here.
Yeah. So, okay, we have this problem. We can either cry until tomorrow or, like, okay, we're done. We let it out. So let's see how we're going to solve the problem. And that's how it works. So I went back the other day and I actually did it in 6 months. So
can you give me a bit of an insight on how did you make it through it? Like, what did those 6 months look like for you?
Look, I didn't think that I had a limit. Like, okay, within 6 months, if I don't do this, I that's what's gonna happen. Because when you look at only the outcome, you forget that you have steps. So it was one day at a time. I needed to rent offices. I needed to increase occupancy. I needed to increase my virtual office packages. I needed to find more clients. So I needed to work on marketing. I needed to work on sales, on conversion. So one step at a time. That's how it works. You can't just say, like, okay, in 6 months, well, I had a plan, but the plan is climbing the stairs one by one. So today I would do this. Tomorrow I would do this. And that's how it happens. And with perseverance. I was trained, so I knew the product. I knew it very well. All I needed to do is just convert and work on marketing, let people know. When ServCorp established in Qatar, no one knew what a co-working space or a virtual office or a serviced office meant. And everyone who knows me throughout these 14 years, because I'm very associated to ServCorp. So if they think ServCorp, it's Fabienne. Directly. So everyone who knows me knows that I've actually educated the market.
You did, because I know a couple of people who, when I talk about ServCorp, your name straight away pops up in conversations.
Yeah, or in their contacts. It's Fabienne ServCorp.
ServCorp, there you go.
So yes, I've educated the market, and a lot of other providers. Well, we didn't have a lot of providers back then, but now actually copied that model that I have promoted for the past decade and a half.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Did you have a conversation with your CEO after the 6 months?
Oh, yes. Well, because we had, once we achieve our numbers, we get to fly to Sydney.
Okay.
ServCorp is an Australian-based
company.
That's
the base, right.
So we get to fly to Sydney for the international management meeting. It's a privilege and it's an incentive to celebrate. So the first year when I went, because we had said like, okay, now you fixed it. And in front of, we were 150 or 200 managers coming from around the world. It was around the world. It's an international management meeting. And all ServCorp branch managers come to join from everywhere. All over the world. And then in front of these people, he said like, there is a tiny chick.
No way.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, sometimes he still calls me small chick. He's in his 80s, right? Okay. So he's allowed to do whatever he wants. Yeah. Who runs a small branch for us in Qatar. I can't remember her name.
No way, still until that day.
So I stood up and it's like, Fabienne. He looks at me, he's like, Fabienne, I will remember your name when you make that amount of money.
Oh, wow.
As a profit.
Round 2 now.
Yeah, that was round 2. So the next year, I was actually best achiever.
I have to high five you. Okay.
And then I went on the podium. I mean, you can see in my office my small frames on different years achieving and everything. And I won my ServCorp Diamond.
Can we take pictures of all of those things if you don't mind? Like I'm just gonna put in a timeline because I would love to put those on the video. Yeah, sure. So I won my ServCorp Diamond, and he actually like, hey, we looked at I went on the podium, you know, everyone celebrating my wins, me celebrating. He said, yeah, now I know your name. Like, yeah, you would never forget it. And that's, I mean, I work with him directly, right? So that tells you something about him remembering 100%. My name. Now he takes you over to, now you're managing 4 countries?
Yes.
And the 5th in Saudi now, not under your like portfolio, but...
4 and Delta, 4 and plus.
plus. Okay, so tell me about the role of your husband in all of this and the role of your kids in all of this.
Yes.
Because I'm just trying to think of the current status quo where this much dedication to work could cause maybe a misbalance somewhere else.
Yeah, you're going to ask me, how do you do balance work, home, work, life?
I'm not going to ask you about the balance. I'm going to ask you about when did you feel you were losing balance, if ever it happened, and how did you...
You're going to be surprised by my answer.
Tell me.
There is no balance.
Whoa.
Yes. People think you can do 50-50.
It's never 50-50.
Ever. That doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. You have to be... There is balance. In my mind now, after all this career, and I'm still young, right? Like I'm still have probably another 25 years of work or 10 or I don't know. Yeah. It's just... I don't have a deadline. There is no balance because, well, there is no right and wrong in my mind. Yeah. And the way I think about it, I just think in a particular situation, in a particular timing frame, it's right. It might seem wrong to you when you look back, but you can't look back. You've done it. Back then, it was the right thing to do. So, and how it affected you and how you react to it is key. the support of my husband, his name is Andre.
Hi, Andre.
Yeah. Was everything to me. I mean, I was supported by my family when I started my career in pharma.
In Lebanon, that
Yes.
was back
So
in
my mom, my mother-in-law, my sisters, my father, they and I had 3 small children back then too, and they used to take turns because I used to go to conferences at night, or if I'm traveling, so they used to come to my house to watch my kids, watch over them, and Andre was there as well. When he moved to Doha, I stayed with the children back at home by myself with 3 children. So I had a support system. When I moved to Doha, I had only him. And he was and he still is, involved with the children.
Okay.
So whatever I lack, he just goes and covers. And he still does that. The reason why I said there is no right and wrong, because the relationship that my girls, they are girls, have with their father is second to none. They're very close.
I love that.
So he patched a gap somewhere. I don't know what the gap is. If you ask me, like, where do you think? I don't know. I mean, he's there. The close relationship that he has with them now, I think, was created by the fact that I'm a working mother. Like, I work. I'm. If you ask Elodie, who's the youngest one, because she's the one who complains all the time, and say, when does your mom work? I'm pretty sure if you call her now, they're on a break now, she would say, well, she never stops.
Wow.
She never stops. Like, she works. Like, she never stops. I've never seen my mom not working. And then friends will ask her, so what does she do on the weekends? She's like, well, she doesn't have a weekend. Like, why are you saying this? Because, well, you see, the countries that she covers,
the weekends are different.
The weekends are different. So she doesn't have a weekend on Friday. No. On Friday, the UK and Germany are working. So no. So what about Saturday? I used to cover a certain country that actually works on Saturday. Yeah. Now I don't as much as I was before, because we can't talk about it. But anyways. Okay. So I didn't have a weekend. And Sunday is Monday in Doha. So she was right. I didn't work.
I didn't stop.
Yeah, I never stopped because, well, I didn't have a weekend. Going back to the support, so that mentioned the
Yep.
So they built a very good relationship with their father and with their dad, and it's still going on. That doesn't mean that I don't have that.
Yeah.
But I have a different one. I have a very girly one with my children. I'm the problem solver.
Right.
So whenever there is something going on in their lives, they're teenagers and adults now, I would receive mom, like either a message or like when they say mom, it's like, okay, fair. I have to stop everything. Let me get on the phone and see what's going on. Or mom, are you there? Yeah. So
and the answer is always yes.
Yeah, if you ask them, because sometimes I doubt myself, like, have I been really present? And I ask them, and the answer is always. Whenever we wanted to reach out to you, you were always there. So that's the balance that I've created.
There you go.
At least they know that I'm here. But also there is another important thing, seeing their mom working and challenged and succeeding, it also built their personalities on what do they want to do in their lives in the future. And I can see it with when my eldest would wish me happy birthday. I mean, I wish I could, you could read them. I don't think Serena would want her messages to me to be read. To be read. But it makes me cry all the time and say, like, okay, I must have done something right. If she feels this way, 100%. I must have done. And also Zoe is writing, when she was writing her essays for universities, because she's applying for universities now.
Right.
So she was writing essays and she was writing about a role model. I actually would I would read. It's like, Mom, can you read my essay? I'm like, I'm reading about me. Like, Zoe, are you sure you want to talk about it? It's like, yeah, Mom, I'm sure. I know what I'm talking about. Like, okay, whatever you want.
Lovely.
So yeah, that's the balance. That's like, there is no 50-50, but you have to, this is for me, the balance that I've created. And it's enough.
And I think it's very realistic. I don't think the
I don't know
50-50
if it's
ever
right.
works.
I honestly can't judge if it was the right thing to do or not. That's how I lived it. This is how I built my career. This is how I built a family. I mean, alhamdulillah, there's nothing wrong with my kids. They're all healthy and psychologically stable. They're tough girls. They're very tough. They're very tough. They outspoken. So I must have done something right.
Yeah. So the thought that we're always talking about is we're always trying to find the balance between, like, where is my 50-50? We're always fighting for the 50-50 to happen, and that's where all the problems arise.
Yeah.
But it's never at a 50-50. It's
I think what we need to focus on, and that's something I learned from my CEO. Honestly, like, he thinks I don't listen to him. He always said, "You don't listen to me." He believes. I hope he listens to this podcast.
We'll make sure he does.
I think he always said that, "You do not listen to me," or like, for example, "It's all in your head." I actually do listen to him, and a lot of things he says. When you're at work, you're at work. Like, go home and then stay. Like,
home.
go home. Or he always says, "Can you do me a favor and have a good weekend?"
I love that.
Yeah, he says this to me all the time. I don't think he realizes that he's saying this to me. I hope, I mean, I assume he does, but he repeats it like, "Can you do me a favor and go spend a good weekend?" So I try. That doesn't mean that I always succeed. I do try.
Okay.
But if I am I try. If I'm with my children and they need me, I am with them.
You're present.
Yeah, my attention is not 100% focused. I get
Zone
distracted.
Out.
I zone out. But that's again because it's my personality, my nature. Like, on my mind, like, I'm sitting now with you, and my mind is in like.
Right. I mean, thank
But
you for your time.
That's being part of being a woman, by the way. We can multitask. Oh, no, not at all. I can think about other stuff when I'm talking.
Yeah.
It's our mind works differently.
100%.
We can multitask. And I think when you are present, you have to be present. If they need you, you have to be emotionally, psychologically, and physically. Even if it's for 10 minutes or for 15 minutes or for 30 minutes. I try. Sometimes I succeed, sometimes I don't, and they will. Now my children speak up, like, okay, Mom, you zoned out. Like, are you listening to me? They would challenge me. They would say, Mom, I'm talking to you. Are you listening to me? And then I said, yeah. Okay, hold on. I'm listening. Tell me.
Okay, so this is going to be interesting. How did you manage a difficult conversation ever with Andre? So, I mean, there's a lot that keeps happening apparently with you, right?
Yes.
Traveling, new locations, targets, round 1, round 2, and I'm sure there was round 3 and round 4 after those 2 rounds. But was there any moment where there was, in fact, a difficult conversation that had to be held? And how do you both usually handle those conversations?
About work or about children? About my work? About me?
Pick. Could be about you. Could be about your work. Could be about.
Allah يساعده, my husband. It's every day. It's every. He is the person I go to when I want to nag.
Okay.
Like, when I want to complain or I want to nag, I want to unburden myself.
He's your venting space.
I don't have anyone else.
I'm sure he's gonna be happy to.
He knows. I tell him all the time. I don't have anyone else. Like, as I said earlier, we've known each other for 30 years, so we've grown up together, so we know, like, from the hello, hello,
I know there is something.
hi, like, okay, what's wrong?
We know the theme, eh?
Both of us. So he is the go-to person, my person, when I need to unburden myself.
It's beautiful. So, how important is it to have that space? How important is it?
Wow.
There you go.
You can't make it without it. You have to have someone. You can't make it. I couldn't have made it, or I couldn't be where I am now if he wasn't there. And through the tough times and the good times, but through the tough times is more important. It's more important.
Of course.
Because a lot of the time, and I think every single human being went through a period where it's like, okay, I'm gonna give up. Like, I can't do this anymore. It's just too much. And then he would come and say, well, it's okay, whatever you're gonna decide, I'll back you up.
I'll back you up.
Like, don't worry, because we women are different. We're very emotional, and even if people think like, oh, you're multitasking, we manage by emotions. We think by emotions. We act based on emotions, and a lot of executives would think like, oh, she's not right. You shouldn't. You should be, like men. No, I am not ashamed of saying I make decisions based sometimes on emotions. I make a lot of decisions based on instinct. All the time. What my gut feeling tells me, all the time. And I'm not ashamed to say, like, yeah, because I'm a woman.
And that's the sense. A successful person, whether at work or at home, knows to find that balance where they can use their emotions to their benefit. It's not about, you can't cancel it out. And this is one of the biggest challenges we're facing today, is where we think that those are weaknesses, but again, it's proven every single day that the moment you start to connect better with your emotions, you use them, you use that gut feeling to understand it's trying to tell you something, and you start to use it.
Yes.
That's how you actually succeed even better. Right? We've even seen it, like the Prime Minister of New Zealand, Jacinda.
Yeah.
I would just sit and watch how she functions. I'm like, wow, success.
It's we can't separate ourselves from our emotions.
100%.
That's
Thank you for saying this. Merci. Thank you.
But no, absolutely. You wanted that.
Emotional intelligence. That's the core of what I do.
No, you can't separate it for sure. I can't. But at the same time, you have to remind yourself to think in a positive way. This is not a cliche, honestly. The minute you start going into negative, everything starts transforming into negative.
100%.
The minute you keep your mind in yes, it will happen. Yes, I can. One of my managers, and I don't know if Hassan Sha'ar is gonna listen to this, but I hope he does. And he used to tell me all the time, I like you because you are a yes, I can person. Yep. But Fabienne, just between you and I, it's not all the time that you can. It's like, well, Hassan, let's see. Let's keep the attitude of yes, I can do it.
Let's see how far.
And then let's see how far I can go. And obviously, I did go the mile, and I'm still sometimes in touch with him. It's like, sometimes it's okay not to do it. Yeah. Like, leave me alone. Let me try. Let me try. Yeah. Let me try. At least. And that's how I tell my children to think. To think in their minds. Like, I tell them all the time when they come to me with a negative something. And Elodie knows, because I always tell her, like, Elodie, don't say I have bad luck. Yep. Because it will come to you.
Attracting.
So now I always, because they compete, the two young ones are professional taekwondo players.
Oh wow!
So they compete internationally. And Elodie just won her bronze medal in the Arab championship in Fujairah.
Congratulations, Elodie.
2 weeks ago.
Wow.
Yeah,
Fresh,
yeah,
okay.
2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Zoe did gold Arab championship in her career, the Lebanese championships. Zoe won bronze medal in Asian championship. So both of them, they actually compete.
Both. Okay.
So I always tell her, like, don't say I'm gonna lose. Say I am going to win. And now I challenge her. Now she understands that if she says in her mind, I am going to win, she actually wins.
Does win.
She does win. She does win. She knows that it works.
It's a mind game.
Because she tried it.
100%.
So that's how I train myself. I don't succeed all the time.
But it's a mindset again.
I don't succeed all the time. Sometimes I just can't let my mind think positive. It thinks negative and say, like, okay, Fabienne, you need to go back. And that's where a lot of times people around me just push, like, you're being negative. It's like, really? And I'm a kind of person, if I am in a, like, for example, I knew that we're going to have this podcast today. So in my mind, I said, like, okay, I need to bring my positive energy.
Yeah. Bless you.
No, I need to bring my positive energy. And close friend to mine, when we want to have a cup of coffee, and I think one of them knows. I'm not gonna mention his name, but he knows. Okay. When we want to have a cup of coffee, if I'm not bringing my positive energy, I say, no, I can't today.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, and another friend of mine that I met yesterday, it's like, go away today. I'm not feeling well. You're gonna catch my negative energy. Just go. Like, so she started laughing at me. Like, I will take both today. Your negative and positive. I normally don't like to go into a situation or a meeting or meet friends if I'm not bringing my positive energy. I'm very well known. Like, I would walk into a place and then it will
turn the place upside down.
Yes.
You have your energy works both ways.
Yes.
Similar to me.
So I keep my negative to me. I don't. If I ever have it. Yeah. Which is rare, but it happens.
Of course.
I just keep it to me, and I don't like to spread it around. I actually don't do meetings if I feel like
not the right time, place, energy.
Yeah, I don't. And I always wear a smile.
You have an amazing smile.
Oh,
okay.
Thank you.
So, all right. So, thank you for this. This was very insightful, by the way. Thank you. This was a beautiful flow. I love this. Okay. I'm going to pull you back into ServCorp a little bit.
Yeah.
So, and about your leadership within the team. So my first intro or brief intro to ServCorp was actually in Abu Dhabi. I was introduced to one of your stars over there, Stephanie Haddad.
You know Stephanie.
I know Stephanie. Yes, we grabbed a cup of coffee, and she was talking about ServCorp and what she does. We're just grabbing a casual cup of coffee. I think I hijacked that conversation. It was after my climb to Kilimanjaro the first time, and I literally hijacked that whole conversation. But something caught my mind on that day, on her energy coming from work, and wanting to go back to the office after her break, and how she spoke very highly of how empowered she felt as a woman, and she kept talking about it, like, oh, one of our main focus is women empowerment. We support women, and I was just looking at her, and then I got introduced to your amazing Nancy's over here in Doha, which is when we basically also had joined you guys as ServCorp. Tell me a little bit about how do you do it? Why? Actually, no, not how. I mean, no, first the why. Why the focus of ServCorp on women empowerment? Where did it come from?
Okay, so first it came from a commercial perspective.
Okay. I love that. Okay.
That's the truth.
Good.
Why do we hire women?
Yep.
Because people like to buy from women.
Okay.
It's as simple as that.
Okay.
But there is something more. We just don't hire women because of their commercial. because first they can multitask absolutely, but also we work with the women to build their career. So yes, initially, because we run a business and we know that things that women can pass on, sorry, I'm not being feminist a lot, just a
Right.
little bit, men can't do.
Okay.
The
Interesting
majority,
perspective.
the
Hey.
majority of men, like in terms of sales and marketing and customer service and multitasking, our job requires a multitasking capabilities. If you can't multitask, you can't do it. So we before we train them on customer service and everything, we actually train them on multitasking at the same, because you need to do this at the same time. So and women can easily multitask. It's within our nature. We can do a lot of things at the same time.
Right.
Rarely you can find a woman that can't multitask.
And I've seen that through my converse. To be honest, like you have a fabulous team. I have to tell you this. You have an amazing team.
Yeah. There is a reason why they are amazing.
Tell me.
So you see, first you have to lead by example, because you said, how do you do it? Like,
Yep.
how do you inspire women? You have to lead by example, and they see me.
Yep.
They see me. Everyone that from the junior person who starts with us, her building her career, to the senior managers, to the sales directors, to the team that I run all over the, like in other countries, you have to lead by example. Like they have to see that you're hardworking. They have to see that you're passionate. They have to see like your positive energy. They have to see it. And once they see and experience it, and you see you grow, they're like, yeah, I mean, if she can do it,
I can.
so can we.
100%.
You have to lead. You have to show them. You can't just say things by theory. It doesn't work. You have to show them, and you have to, be the example. And then, and I hope I have been the example to a lot of them.
Oh, you
I
have.
hope so.
Oh, you have. Trust me.
hope
And
so.
not just your staff, but even your clients. Trust me.
And train them. Like we train our team. We train them. We mold them. We train them. We have a very interesting training courses that we do. We've been doing this for quite a while, since 1976.
Wow.
So it's more than 4 decades now.
It's your DNA now.
I mean, we were practically the first in the industry. So we have history. We have history.
Yep.
We've learned.
Yep.
And we pass on. Every single one of us pass it to the set, to the next, to the next, to the next. And it's all about empowering women. When I'm, for example, now for Medina, I'm in my mind saying, should I hire a gentleman or a lady? And I don't have preferences, but I mean, subconsciously, I feel like I'm more into ladies. But we'll see. We would hire the right candidate.
Yeah.
I mean, fortunately for me, the right candidates were women. I've worked with men. We have in a lot of countries, we have men. We have CFOs men. We have general managers men. But 90% of ServCorp team are women.
Okay. Wow, 90%.
Well, if not a bit more, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Around the world, 90% are women.
That's very interesting.
Yes.
And amazing. So, and one of the things that actually caught my attention, I mean, I'm in the learning industry, so those things always catch my attention, is the succession planning, the growth that people go through at ServCorp is just beautiful. Like for me, I could just sit and watch the story.
There's a career path, right?
I just love to sit and watch those stories. I'm like, it works. Please, people learn. It works. It works.
I mean, it works. I had recently filmed a video for ServCorp, and it's on YouTube.
Okay.
I think in this video I talk a lot about my journey as well with ServCorp.
Yeah.
And the reason why I've done it is because I've actually followed that career path.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, you could see from branch manager to but I have other people who followed it from junior. So they've joined as our receptionist or our junior secretary.
Right.
And they are branch managers, or they are senior managers somewhere else, or they moved out of ServCorp and they continue to grow in other industries wherever they are.
Wow.
So yes, you have a very clear career path with ServCorp, but also we train people for other career paths. That's how good
But isn't that
we are.
beautiful that you're creating a culture of learning by itself for the market?
It's amazing. I can see it.
it's
I give you so many examples of people, and they know themselves. They know who are they, who went through the school. Either they are still with us and they have different positions, upper positions. They are actually going into their career path, or they moved out and looked for other opportunities, and they are still moving, and they still come back like, I've learned this here.
How beautiful is it that people still carry that? I mean, look, for me, there is nothing more valuable to build loyalty with a place more than the learning. I mean, this stays with you.
Yeah.
You know, and people will keep remembering you. Like one day, at one point, people might be sitting just like we're sitting now, and they're like, "Where did it all begin?" And then they'll be like, "Oh, it started at ServCorp." Those things can't. I mean, you can't buy it. You can't buy
No,
this.
no, but you work hard, and now you're talking about ServCorp, but I just remembered something. When I used to work in the pharma market,
Yeah.
that's on personal. I mean,
Level.
ServCorp definitely, but that's on the personal level. I still have a lot of contacts,
Mentors and
yeah, mentors and mentees.
and mentees, yeah.
And mentees. And out of the blue, one of my team members, whom I've hired within my team back then in the pharma, he works now in a different company. He's still in the pharma market. And we've connected. We're on LinkedIn connected. And I don't know what was posted or why did I post. And he replied. And he wrote me like a full paragraph.
Oh, you're joking.
A full paragraph saying, I still remember
the things.
Yeah, I mean, that just made my day. And I wrote him back. It's like, you just made my day today. Thank you.
Yep.
These are the things that I would like to remember. And I would like to say, maybe I inspired people. Maybe I inspired positively. I could have inspired negatively. Like, don't get me. I'm not that.
It depends
perfect.
how people take it. Again,
I'm
perception,
not that perfect.
no?
I'm not that
Perception,
perfect. But I hope that I've inspired more into the good rather than the bad throughout my career. And ServCorp has a big part of it because half of my professional career is with them, with ServCorp. And if they could see my career path, they definitely can see theirs.
100%. You are. I mean, through your career path, you might be inspiring, as we said, change. You might be inspiring perseverance. You might be inspiring learning, because it's all a combination.
Yeah, and it's one step at a time. Like, you can't burn steps. It has to be slowly. Perseverance is the key. You just can't give up.
100%. All right, so we are approaching to the closure of our
God. How much
session.
time did we do?
I told you,
20,
I told
30
you.
minutes.
See, there you go. We're almost approaching an hour. The flow was beautiful today, Fabienne. I genuinely thank you, Amjad. Thank you from my heart.
Thanks.
I mean, you've touched on areas which are very personal to me: emotional intelligence, emotional awareness. You've touched on learning. I mean, all of those things are things that we preach with our clients, with our company, and I think this is where we have aligned with you, with the organization, with ServCorp. If there's going to be one last message you want to send out there,
Yeah.
I'm going to give you an opportunity. I'm going to do this differently with you.
I haven't prepared.
No, it's really good. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of messages, given the entanglements you have in your life and the areas of your life. I'm going to ask you to, if there's a message to Andre, if there's a message to your girls, and if there's a message to the general public, what would those three messages be?
Yeah. Okay. So let's start with the first.
Go.
With Andre. Let's start
Yes.
with Andre and say, I would have never been able to do whatever I did or be where I am without his support, without your support. So that's my message to him. So if he has doubts now, he shouldn't.
We're clearing it out.
We're clear. To my girls, I just want. I always tell them that I love them unconditionally, and they should never ever doubt that. But I just want them to get, because now they can judge. Yeah, they know that mom is not perfect. All I want from them is just take the good things and leave the bad. Like, take the good things, learn from the good things that you believe, okay, I like mom because of this.
Yep.
And just leave the bad ones or work on the bad ones so that, they become perfect.
Right.
And to the general public, change is good. At any time of your life, change is always good. You would think that, when you're looking at it close, when it happens, like, oh my God, what have I done? No. Change is always positive and is always good. Always.
Yeah.
Whatever that change is.
100%. I mean, we're looking at a lot of things today that has, I think we're probably going through the era of the quickest changes happening ever. But the more we look at it and we try to maneuver through it, as you said, we always find a way through. And I think this is what life is trying to teach us.
I mean, you asked me to give, like, what was my last message. People are scared of change.
Yeah.
People are scared. Normally, they have their comfort zones, they're resistant. But I think about it always, like, if someone loses their job today,
yep,
they're going into a change. It will be good.
100%.
It will be good.
100%.
If someone is, going out of bad relationship, it will be fine. It will be good. Change is good. If they are going into a relationship, if they're leaving back an old job and they find themselves for a period without a job, change is good. They need to keep on repeating this to themselves, because, if you seek, you will find.
100%.
Right?
I love that.
Yeah, if you seek, you will find. You just have to keep on going. And that's one thing I've learned also from my CEO. Maybe he doesn't like to do podcasts. He doesn't like to go to the public and talk, but I will say it on his behalf.
You are his voice.
Yeah. How he's in his 80s and he's still going on, and he's thank God, like, fit and everything. So what is the secret? Never stop. Never stop.
Keep going.
So yesterday someone asked me, we were going into 1 hour and a half, how many years you think you're gonna live?
Keep going. Yeah.
Yeah? It's like, I'm aiming for 90. So she looked at me, it's like, 90, like, yeah, 90. Why not?
Eh, why not? 100%.
Why not? I'm just gonna keep on going on. It's like, well, but I don't want to live. She said, I don't want to live for 90. She knows herself. I don't want to live for 90. Like, why not? Like, I'll be old. Like, yeah.
It's a change.
I'm gonna live for 90. Yeah, I will be old and all wrinkly, probably. But I will have my mind, because I have decided in my mind that physically and mentally I'll be okay.
I'll be present. Yep.
In 90. At 90.
Inshallah more, ya Rab.
Yeah.
Inshallah more.
So never stop. Change is good.
I love that. Right. Fabienne, we're going to bring this to a close.
Yeah.
So before we do that, I would like to thank you for your time, for for sharing such an amazing story. Yeah. I think anyone that would listen to this pod today, it will touch you in a way or another. Whether you have challenges with commitment, you have challenges with balance, whether you have, we discovered that no balance could be the answer. Whether you're having challenges having those difficult conversations, have them rather than keep pushing them and not having them. So I think we succeeded in touching a lot of areas today. I would genuinely love to keep going, but I know that you are also at a tight schedule. So everybody, I would like to thank you again for being with us for the past hour. Again, I would like to thank Fabienne for being with us today. during this session. Let me close. Hold on, I have a question which you told. Why did you want me to introduce you in the three name
Oh,
of your family?
my maiden name and
Khaybar.
my
Yes,
family. Well, this is my way of giving back to my parents.
I love that.
That's one of the major things, because that I know I make them proud. So this is me giving back. And my married name is to give it to my children and my husband and my in-laws, who are also a big part of my life as
Love
well.
that.
And that's for me to acknowledge and give
Acknowledge.
back.
Love
That's
that.
why I wanted, like, it's a long name, but
Doesn't
it's my way of giving
paying
back to
it
them,
forward
and
and
then
giving
so
back.
that they can I'm appreciating my family. They raised me, and my parents, their support, but also the family that I've built with my husband.
100%. I love that. Okay, I couldn't close
Are you
with.
gonna close or not?
I didn't want to close without getting to this.
You have to
So,
close eventually.
so Fabienne Hajjar, thank you very much for being with us today, everybody. Don't forget to follow, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and on our different audio channels as well, and on our Instagram. ServCorp, we thank you for an amazing location, and thank you for the services that you're providing to My Life Map as a business. Um, we thank you, everybody, for being with us, and we're looking forward to hearing your comments, your feedback, and your suggestions for our future pods. Thank you very much, and have an amazing day.